Hi, Bill and Missy Bauer, BM Crop Consulting. We're out here evaluating our corn. Things may look good from the road. We want to make sure we're out in the field looking at what's going on and evaluating how our ears are developing and what kind of disease pressure we have.
Yeah, so our big concern this year is the disease, because this weather environment we've had is just super high humidity levels, a lot of rain, just really conducive this year. Unlike the last couple of years, our disease environment is totally different. And that's where I've got big concerns about what we're seeing with tar spot. So tar spot, a fairly new disease for us here in Michigan. It's been around a couple of years, but those couple of years we just didn't have the conditions that we have this year. So as a reminder, if you're not familiar with what tar spot is, you can see the black lesions here on these leaves. It literally looks like there's tar on the plant. They cannot scrape off or rub off, and you can see all the black spots and lesions on there. Not near as much yellowness as you see with some of the other lesions or brownness, really these black spots.
The other thing we need to think about is what stage we're at. You know, where is our ear development and how much time do we have to finish. So if we take a look at our ears out in this field, we break them open and look at the kernels here. We don't have any hard starch starting yet, so we're in the dough stage. So we're in R4, we've got quite a bit of time for this crop to finish, and we don't want to walk away from it yet.
Right, so depending on your maturity, a lot of times R4, we might be in that for 7 to 10 days. Then once we get to dent, which is the beginning of R5, where you see your kernels starting to dent in there, we could be another 30, 33 days in R5. So depending on where you're at in the state, we might have another, probably 40-some days potentially to get to this crop to the finish.
Right. So we want to make sure that we're evaluating that and not walking away from this. If we can come in and protect some yields, we definitely want to do that this year.
Exactly. So if we look at this example here, this is a hybrid that has not been treated for tar spot yet. You can see tar spot typically is worse in this lower canopy down here, where things just stay wetter longer, so it's a big issue of leaf wetness. But you see a lot of tar spot in here. But my concern is not so much the lower canopy, it's how high up in this canopy is it coming. So when you start to see a lot of tar spot above the ear leaf, so I can take this leaf here, in this example it's one leaf above the ear leaf, you can see quite a bit of tar spot in here on this leaf. I can look up even a little bit higher into this canopy here. I've got tar spot on this leaf here as well. So in a lot of cases I've got tar spot in this particular hybrid that's not been treated. I've got it about 4 leaves above the ears. So this is really concerning at the stage that we're at if we're really going to be able to get this crop to finish properly without a fungicide treatment.
Right, with a susceptible hybrid, that's going to continue to get worse, right?
Right, and you can see here on the other side is a hybrid that's a lot less sensitive.
So if we have a hybrid that's got some natural ability to offset some of the pressure of tar spot, you can see that if you hold it up to the sunlight, you can see some lesions in here may have started, but it doesn't progress as much as a susceptible hybrid. So yes, it's going to have some disease in the lower canopy, but these leaves that are important to filling the ear and contributing to yield aren't going to be as prone as a susceptible hybrid.
Well, I'll show an example here too. So this is back to the same hybrid that has very high pressure of tar spot here. This is that same hybrid, but this was treated at the R3 stage. So at that milk stage, the fungicide got applied here. So you can still see a little tar spot down in this lower canopy, like we would kind of expect, that not quite as good a coverage down there. But as we work up this canopy, you see a lot less overall pressure. So we're doing a real good job here of keeping the tar spot in check with that fungicide application.
Almost more similar compared to the one that has some natural.
Exactly. Remember, this is at R3, so a lot of fungicide this year maybe went on at R1. So if you put your fungicide on real early, you probably need to get out there and do some rescouting.
Right, because the time that's been on has been enough days where we could get some reinfection, and that fungicide might not be as effective as it was when it was applied. So we probably used that up. And the other thing to think about is tar spot on the label for the products that you use. There's a lot of new products out there. They're doing pretty good on tar spot, but some of the older ones, if it's not on the label, we probably need to think about what you've applied and what we need to do going forward if you have a problem out here.
Yeah, I think that's important. You know, some of that stuff that went on real early, you're talking it's probably since R1, we're, probably 25 days after R1 at this point. We could be getting where those have definitely need to get rescouted. So our overall recommendation here is if you have not been in your field and done any treatment for tar spot, you need to get out and do some scouting. Like this particular hybrid here, we'd probably pull the trigger if we can get it sprayed quick enough. Quick means as soon as possible. You can't say, oh, it's going to be 2 weeks and then we do it. That's going to be too late. Hybrid like this, it's probably fine to just let go. And then also go out and re-scout your initial fields that did have fungicide on them, especially that stuff that got done at that earlier R1 or right at the time of tassel stage.